Cape Town.
It's time for Nico Kleynhans, exclusively on Breakfast with Friends.
Thank you very much, Nico, for being willing to join us in our studios here in Muizenberg. It's always great to have you here, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My theme is a bit somber this morning. It comes from Isaiah 43, verses 18 to 19. The verse says, "Forget former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing." This verse addresses people who've had something painful happen to them. And the problem is that if we focus on that painful event, it can limit what happens to us in the future, because there is a sense in which we become prisoners of our past. And why I remember this is because my mother and her twin brother, at the age of 3, had a catastrophic event happen to them. Their mother found life so painful at that age that the mother committed suicide. And she chose a particularly painful way of doing that. And she chose that because that was less painful than looking after her 2 3-year-old kids. The magistrate at the time looked at the family setup and decided that the father was clearly not capable of looking after the kids. And so he sent my mom to a Catholic orphanage, and he sent her brother somewhere else. And so at the age of 3, this young child was separated from her mother, her father, and her brother, and all the families that she knew. And for the next 15 years, she didn't see her family again. So that was a very painful experience. And she remembers the first Christmas at this orphanage. The sisters felt sorry for her. And at Christmas time, they asked her to come and look at the toys that were donated to that orphanage for that year. And they told her to choose the toy she most wanted. And one of the toys was a doll. The doll was bigger than what she was. And they thought that would be the toy she would choose. But there was a small family of dolls as well. And my mother insisted that she wanted the family of dolls. And so she rejected the big gift. And I said, "Mom, why did you then choose the small gift rather than the big one?" And she said, "Nico, I missed my family. And I could turn these small dolls into my family. And they could become what I had missed, what I was missing." So already then she realized that she was a victim of circumstances. And there was nothing that she could do about it. And she had to make the best of what she could do. But she learned to sing carols in Latin, because that's what the Roman Catholic Church did. And even today, there are some carols that I can sing in Latin because she taught me, and that was part of what she passed on to me. As I became older, I kept dwelling on what history does to us and the damage that it can do to us. And so as soon as I was able, I began to explore what happens to orphans and what can we do to make a difference. And I found the Star Seaside Home in Durban, and I volunteered over the Christmas season to be a helper there so that kids could come from all over South Africa who were orphans, and I would help with the supervision of those kids so they could have a Christmas season. And as soon as I started working, I found other Nazareth houses in South Africa, and I would phone and say, "What can I do to make a difference?" And I did so because I knew what was happening to kids, and I wanted those kids to experience something different. We're back in the season again, when we gather with our families, we gather with our clans, and we celebrate. But I'd like to put a challenge before each and every listener here. There are thousands of kids who are part of orphanages. Have you explored what difference you can make in their lives? There are thousands of people in your neighborhood who have outlived their families, who are lonely and have become aged. Have you thought of the difference you can make in their lives? We live in a very mobile society, and there are people who are foreigners in our country who are working here, and they miss their families and they can't go home. Have you thought what you can do and make a difference in their lives? So while it is true that there are many people who are victims of circumstances, it is also true that we are God's ambassadors. We can make a difference. We can do something that will make a difference to the lives of others, whether they be neighbors, members of our congregation, people whose family have spread throughout the world, people who are just lonely. Please look at that verse again and seeing if you can't be used to make a difference in the life of somebody else during this season that is supposed to be a season of great joy. Have a good day.
Thank you, Nico.
Oh.